watching Monster episode 3.
Hello?
Sorry to bother you at this hour. We're here on official police business. Would you happen to be Dr. Tenma?
Can I help you?
Pardon my asking, but were you home all last night?
What? No, I was out drinking until dawn. Why'd you ask?
Well, sir, Eisler Memorial Hospital's Director Heinemann, Chief of Surgery Dr. Oppenheim, and Dr. Boyer. They're all dead.
No one except the police are allowed to enter the scene of the crime.
Chapter 3, a murder.
The operation of this hospital.
Press is not allowed
Can't
inside.
have patients in this kind of chaos.
Can you tell us, please? Was it an accident or was it murder? 3 people died at the same time. Of course it was murder.
Had to be.
Are you part of the hospital staff? Tell us. Would you happen to know anything about this incident? Out of my way. Let me through. Hey, no one's allowed in. I work here. I'm Dr. Kenzo Tenma. Come on, step back. So, did you see anyone suspicious earlier tonight? I'm sorry, sir, but I don't think this is the time for
Oh, Dr. Tenma! Dr. Tenma! The director and the others!
Doctor, calm down, everyone. Is the emergency room running smoothly?
Well, actually, we're swamped with emergency cases right now, Doctor. 2 patients are waiting to be operated on.
All right, then. I'll see what I can do.
Can you take care of the car accident victim with the brain contusion?
First, I'll go look over the x-rays. How about the other case?
The patient collapsed with a stroke. Doctor, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions.
I don't have time for this.
I understand, but this initial investigation is vital. Do you know of anyone who could have possibly held a grudge against the director and the others?
A grudge.
You have successfully tied the noose around your own neck.
Yourself. But we know he didn't do
Did
that.
someone come to mind?
No. Sorry.
Dr. Tenma! We have a problem. Those kids, the twins, the boy and the girl. They're gone, sir. We
Tell me
can't
they
find them
gone.
anywhere.
Damn. Shit going to hell.
And is the little girl's bed empty as well, nurse?
I've already checked, but they're both just gone.
What's going on? What the hell is going on?
In his mercy, he lent a hand to many who were ill and suffering. We will always remember his great accomplishments. Farewell, Dr. Heinemann. May you rest in peace.
Man, they're wrong, when anybody died, but he was an asshole.
Ava, I know it's difficult, but please, try to hold yourself.
Don't touch me! Give me my father back! I want him back! I want him back!
This whole funeral business is just too sad, Dr. Tenma.
Yeah.
Up until now, she was fed with a silver spoon as the director's daughter. But now suddenly, she's just another ordinary person. That's got to be quite a big shock.
Ain't got no money no more.
Right now.
Sorry about
I'm
that.
feeling the same way. She was a
Dr.
bitch.
Tenma? I am Inspector Weisbach of the Nordheim Westfalen Police Department.
Thank you for your efforts.
This was such a tragedy.
Yes.
Let me introduce you. Dr. Tenma?
I am Inspector Lunge. I'm here from the BKA.
Spit the lung
I've
in.
heard about your amazing abilities, Doctor.
No, I still have a long
Lungate.
ways to go.
The fuck?
Do you have any leads at all to the children's whereabouts?
No, but we have determined
What
the
are you
cause
doing
of
with his
death of
hand?
the director and the other 2 doctors. We have discovered traces of nitrate inside all 3 of their bodies.
So there were traces of nitrate?
What is that,
It's a
poison?
muscle relaxant.
Exactly.
Oh, muscle.
I see you're not a doctor for nothing.
How could something like that end up in
It was candy.
candy?
It turns
Uh-oh.
out the same candy
The
wrapper
candy
was found
they ate.
inside each of the bodies. The same substance was also found in each of their stomachs. Tell me, would you have any idea where they might have gotten this candy?
That
Or
motherfucker
something
creepy.
else of that sort? I wouldn't know where they got it from. If you don't mind me asking, how is the search for the twins going?
The BKA has taken over jurisdiction on this particular case from the local authorities. Please don't worry. As it stands, after investigating certain events, we
So he
believe all
part of
this
the
could be
BKA.
tied back to the moment the twins' parents were shot to death. First, their parents defect from East Germany and are murdered soon after that. Then staff from the hospital where the children were treated are also murdered. Political terrorism may be a possibility. Those children might hold a major key to this whole mystery.
They need protection. Please do your best to find them, Inspector.
We certainly will.
Excuse us.
Interesting. A Japanese doctor demoted by the director, and then his engagement to the director's daughter broken right before the incident.
But the man was in the bar drinking at the time the crime was committed. It checks out.
What is he doing with his hands?
Mind if I ask you something? Why does your hand move like that?
This, I was just typing.
Huh?
I'm inputting all the information onto the hard drive in my head. And if I access the information, no, I still have a long ways to go. Dr. Tenma was actually quite modest about it when I commented on his well-recognized talents earlier.
The police.
Oh, so like he like memorize stuff by doing that or something?
There's enough evidence to implicate me. Nothing I can do about it.
Oh, don't worry about it. They were persistent when they questioned me, too.
God, I'm so exhausted. Once this whole thing gets settled,
Dr.
I
Beck.
think I'm gonna go back to
I don't think he did. He just seemed like
I came to Germany to do
the
research
average
for
clumsy
everything that's
looking
happened.
surgeon
And
person.
see again, the most important thing for a doctor is to save lives.
Come on. Don't get all depressed on me now.
I'm just tired. So tired. Mr. Buchner, you're making great progress.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Tenma. I'm glad to hear it. Do you think I'll be able to work like I used to?
Yes, of course.
Good, because if I'm not there, I'll have no choice but to close shop.
However, you mustn't overdo it. I'll stop by your restaurant for a drink after you're released. And that's just to make sure that you're not overworking.
Say, Dr. Tenma,
Yes.
I heard that you were leaving this hospital. Is it true, Doctor? Don't quit. Please don't quit. Good doctors like you are so hard to find. Please stay. Please don't say you're quitting. Please.
Mr. Buchner.
Dr. Tenma, the chairman is asking for you. Right now, he's in a meeting with the board discussing how to fill the open positions. Until now, most of these posts were held by Dr. Heinemann's followers. Seems like there are going to be major changes. For example, the rumor is Dr. Eckner is being transferred to a small hospital in Bavaria.
I see.
Dr. Tenma, hold on. No matter what the chairman says, please don't give up. I want you to know we're all behind you. So please, don't leave the hospital.
Hey, you might want to stay.
Let me say this again. I'm performance oriented, and that's the reason I'm making you chief of surgery.
What a life. I went against the director's orders and lost my position as chief. Then my engagement to Ava is broken. And then as soon as I decide to work as a regular doctor without hope of ever being promoted. Oh God, what a life this is.
Happy and sad all at the same time.
I'm sorry for calling you out of the blue, but I'd heard you'd been appointed chief of surgery.
No, don't come crawling. Don't try to come crawling back now.
Thank you, Ava.
Kenzo, that day at my father's funeral, I remember you were trying to comfort me, weren't you?
Wow.
It made me happy.
A lot of
Don't
things
fall for that
happened
shit,
since
man.
I'd like to start over.
No. No.
Kenzo! Listen, please, forgive me. I was wrong. Let's start over. Kenzo?
He ain't trying to hear that shit no more.
Kenzo!
Yeah, bitch.
Patient is hospitalized.
Got
for
one out
spinal
there 9
cord
years
tumor.
old later.
His paralysis has accelerated. I understand. I'll do the operation myself. Excellent, doctor. I'm glad to hear that. Make the arrangements for the procedure. Right.
Okay, so he's straight boss man now.
I've had it with this damn flood. I thought the world would change when the Berlin Wall came down 6 years ago. And it did.
1995.
For worse. It's true. They talk about a unified Europe, but we just keep getting dumped with the bad. Yeah, the rate of unsolved crimes is definitely on the rise.
Inspector, we have arrived, sir.
Both victims had their throats slit. It isn't pretty.
Their identities.
Mr. and Mrs. Reichman from Stitch Drive. They were murdered in their home. We believe they were hidden away in a closet, but were washed out into the open because of the rising floodwaters. Another middle-aged couple murdered for greed. In the past 2 years, there have been
Still
4
doing that shit with his hand.
across the country. All
Yeah, you can
murdered
tell
the
he's like
same
inputting
way.
all that shit in his head, like
Thomas,
memorizing.
thief.
No, it's too premature to call these simple robberies. Judging from the data, for some reason none of these couples seem to have had any children.
Well, this couple didn't seem to have any children either.
Don't you think there are too many factors in common here to make the assumption this is just a simple robbery?
Well, sir, I'm just going by the fact that money and goods were taken from all the victims' homes.
It was, all of it totaling a small amount. Although this would make sense if it were the work of a single perpetrator.
Hold on, you're suggesting there's more than one?
2 of the homes in question had extremely strong locks and sophisticated alarm systems. But the perpetrator bypassed them and was able to enter without any trouble. Also, none of the couple showed any signs of struggle before they were killed, and the neighbors did not hear a single sound at the time the incident took place. Don't you think these were orchestrated all too well for just one suspect?
Yeah, maybe.
Do you know this man?
No.
Adolf
Yeah,
Junkers,
he must be like
32
some kind of
years old.
genius or something.
He's been arrested twice for larceny. In a robbery, he's the one who gets you through the front door. In other words, a lockpick. It turns out, he was spotted near the area in 3 of those 4 double murder cases.
Then he's got to be the man, right?
Or not. It's too early. Well, in any case, Detective, your job here is done. The BKA will take it from here.
Yeah, he let you know that we on a whole nother level. We done came in and did a job for you that quick.
Oh, well, it didn't fly after all. Sorry about that. I've never flown a kite before in my life. It was good. You almost did it.
Well, doctor, do tell. How was your date last night?
Oh, well, she seemed like a nice girl.
Come on, Dr. Tenma, don't be coy. She's
Becca's
the daughter
still
of the
there.
director. Don't tell me you just had dinner and saw her home.
Well, actually, there was an emergency call during dinner, so I had to come back to the hospital.
Hold on, you did what? Ah, you'd better rethink that all work and no play doctrine. You're gonna lose a great catch and regret it someday. Do you hear me? Hey, are you listening to a word I'm saying?
Oh, a kite, eh?
Good morning, Doctor. How are you?
Is this yours, Carl?
My grandpa gave it to me, but it won't fly. I think it's broken.
Maybe the alignment needs to be adjusted.
Well, Doctor, do you know how to fly a kite?
When I was a kid back in Japan, I used to do this a lot. Hold it up in the air now, all right? You ready?
How, like this?
Attaboy. Now here we go.
Yeah. It's flying!
All right.
Oh, man. If I were as smooth as that, I'd have at least 5 lovers. Hell, maybe even 10. Seriously.
That's so awesome, Dr. Tenma.
Get better soon, Carl, so that next time you can fly it yourself, okay?
Yeah.
Today's surgery is a paracella meningioma extirpation. We'll proceed with a right pterional approach.
Yes. Everyone watch closely. The chief of surgery himself is heading up this one.
Brilliant operation. Just look at that. He's hardly retracted the brain at all.
He is truly a surgical genius. You residents should learn to treat the brain with such care.
That's that man in the picture. Hey.
This is terrible. An ambulance. Someone call an ambulance. I didn't do it. This wasn't my fault. This guy ran into the street all of a sudden out of nowhere.
Is this the patient?
Yes.
How is he?
Well, we tried. But there isn't much we can do.
This man is a material witness in the case. It's important that we get his testimony since it may help us solve a string of serial murders, Doctor. We can't have him die on us.
Inspector, this patient is in very critical condition. Really, there's nothing else we can do for him here. However, there's a top-notch neurosurgeon at Eisler Memorial Hospital. If he comes here, he might be able to do something.
Neurosurgeon.
You
That
remember?
would be Dr. Tenma.
I say you remember? Yeah, that's what he's doing. No, he gotta keep everything memorized in his head.
Thanks for coming all the way out here, Dr. Tenman.
What's his condition
Pretty
right
cool.
now?
He is conscious, but a bit delirious. Also, one of his pupils is dilated.
It's been a while, hasn't it, Dr. Tenma?
Sorry, but do I know you from somewhere, sir?
It was 9 years ago. The director's funeral, remember?
Oh, yes, you were from the BKA.
Inspector Lunge, please do be sure to perform a successful operation for the sake of the BKA. The thing is, Doctor, this patient has to survive. He holds the key to solving a very important case.
Well, Inspector, I don't operate for the sake of the police. I do it for the sake of the patient.
Fair enough, Doctor.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have an operation.
I hear you've become the chief of surgery. Well now, Doctor. You've certainly become very successful.
Yes, and what about it?
Nothing. At your age, it's quite an accomplishment. Aren't you next in line to become the director?
No, I still have a long way to go.
Those murders years ago at Eisler Memorial Hospital. Due to a lack of evidence, that investigation has seen very little progress. The only clue we found was the poisoned candy. This suggests it was a calculated act on the part of the killer. In that kind of crime, the killer always has something to gain from the victim's death.
What are you getting at, Inspector?
Nothing. Forgive me. In my line of work, the mind doesn't stop. I'm always thinking like this. In any case, rest assured, of all the cases I've ever handled throughout my career, not one has gone unsolved. No, not a single one.
Well, I'm glad to hear it.
Oh, yeah, he can be coming after you.
We'll perform a
Inspector
craniotomy to
Lunge.
remove the hematoma. If we don't hurry, the brain hernia will worsen.
After the Eisler Memorial Hospital murders, no matter which way I looked at it, one person had everything to gain from the incident. And that is you, Dr. Tenma.
Thank you again for going to all this trouble, driving all this way.
No, don't worry. How is the patient responding?
Well, he is still conscious, but his right pupil does remain dilated. He's also got paralysis on the left side.
But he has already started rehab, hasn't he? The paralysis should go away. He's on the right track. Listen, I think the police want to interrogate him as soon as possible, but that's out of the question.
But, Doctor, that Detective Lunge is a very persistent man.
Right now, the patient's recovery is all I'm worried about. How are you feeling, Mr. Junkers? Everything okay? So, tell me, Mr. Junkers, are you able to recognize me? Do you see this finger I'm holding up? How about it? Can you talk to me today? What's that? I'm sorry. What did you say? Coming? Mr. Junkers, what's coming?
Monsters coming.
The monster is coming.
The monster?
I don't know what that means. Chapter 4, Night of the Execution. Well, I wonder what's gonna happen next. Kenzie done moved up to chief of staff, dude. He like the chief neurosurgeon person. I wonder what happened to the girl though. This was gonna be fiance. We'll see next time. Well, I'll let y'all in episode